Good morning, everyone. Today is Monday and I am subbing first grade. I am subbing a bilingual class. When I got into the classroom, I noticed that the teacher had everything laid out. She had all the worksheets we are going to be doing, which looks like a lot. The teacher hand wrote everything, which I haven't seen in a while. So the first thing we're doing once the bell rings is I'm gonna pick up the students. They're gonna settle into the classroom, and then I will be passing out their weekly homework, which looks like this. The teacher left a lot of notes. And then we're gonna move on to phonics. And for phonics, I was supposed to go over some slides with them, but I don't have access to any slides. So I called the office and they didn't send me any slides either. So we're just gonna skip that and move on to the phonics worksheet. So let me show you what that looks like. So for phonics, we are gonna be doing a cut and paste activity. We're gonna be going over the pictures and matching them to their correct syllable. After phonics, we are moving on to language arts, and for language arts, they're gonna be doing this worksheet where they're gonna be choosing a word from the word box and then adding them to the correct sentence. After language arts, we moved on to science, and for science, we were going over parts of a plant and all about plants. So let me show you what we did. We first went over the parts of the plants. Then together as a class, we did a circle maps about all about plants, all the things they knew about plants. Then the students on their journal wrote a sentence using one of the details in our circle map, and then they drew a picture. So it is lunch right now, and after lunch the students are going to be switching over to DLD. So for DLD, the students are going to be working on 2 worksheets while I work in the back table with a few students. These are the 2 worksheets the students are going to be working on independently. I have already passed them out on their desk. After DLD, the students are going to go back to their class and we're going to move on to math. And for math, it looks like we have a few pages. For math, we have this worksheet. They have about 4 pages total. We're gonna do it as a class. After math, it is gonna be recess, and after recess, the students are gonna be on their Chromebooks. They are gonna be working on Freckle, a next gen assignment, and then after that, they will go on Epic where they can read books. And then that's gonna be pretty much the end of our day. Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday and I am subbing second grade. When I got into the classroom, the teacher was in the classroom. She went over what we're going to be doing today. She gave me the sub plans and went over the sub slides with me as well. When the bell rang, the students lined up right in front of the door and I took attendance, I introduced myself, and then we switched over to DLD. So for DLD, we began by watching a video about gratitude. And then the students answered the question of the day, which was, what are you grateful for and why? This was the video. It's Gratitude by Sesame Workshop. The student that wanted to share their response. After the students answered the question of the day, we went over one of the letter and sound videos. Then the students completed a CVC worksheet. This was the worksheet they worked on. After the students completed the worksheet, I collected them. The teacher had some brain break videos, which they would be watching and following along. So it's like a freeze dance video. But I noticed the DLD class was a little rowdy. They were talking, some of them were getting out of their seats. So instead of that, I just had them read quietly just because I felt that playing the videos was gonna make them even more rowdy than they were. So I just wanted them to kind of like settle down. And that worked because a lot of them stayed in their seat, read their book, and weren't getting up so much. After DLD, the students went to recess, and after recess, we're gonna be moving on to ELA. So for ELA, they do have a worksheet that they're gonna complete. So this is the worksheet that they're gonna complete for ELA. It is lunch right now, and right before we went to lunch, the students finished ELA, and then they moved on to centers/rotation. So everyone was doing the same thing, just switching activities. So all students were working on Bottle for 15 minutes. When the timer was up, they read on Story Online or Epic. And then once that timer was up, they moved on to spelling training. And then the remaining 15 minutes, they did anything English, which they knew what that meant. I didn't really know what that meant. Once the students come back from lunch, they're gonna be reading for 15 minutes and they will be moving on to math. For math, they have an assignment on Freckle, and once they're done with that, they could go on Prodigy or math of their choice. We're then gonna have a brain break before we move on to writing. And for writing, they're gonna be writing in their journals 5 sentences answering the question, which is, if a genie gave you 3 wishes, what would you wish for? Once they're done with that, it is recess. After recess, they have Fun Tuesday, which are links they can find on Google Classroom that they can do. It's pretty much all we are doing today. The teacher was in the classroom when I got here in the morning, so she did mention that she did leave the sub-plan straightforward and much of the work was going to be on their Chromebooks, which I'm not really used to as much as compared to yesterday where the teacher left pure worksheets. So today is going by smooth. The kids were talkative, but I realized that was the DLD class, which was not my students. So far it's going really well. The teacher did warn me in the beginning about a specific student that may have behavior issues. Luckily the student sits close to the teacher desk, so whenever the student is not on task or keeps leaving their seat, then I just redirect that student. The teacher did tell me to reward students for good behavior. She did leave some lollipops and some smelly stickers, so I will be looking around to see what students are on their best behavior. Good morning everyone. Today is Wednesday and I am subbing first grade. When I initially took this assignment, the assignment said that it was going to be a roving assignment, which means that I would be moving from class to class, and it didn't say a specific grade. I just took it anyway because Wednesdays are early outs and usually those are the days that are hardest to find an assignment. So I just took it because I love the school. So once the bell rings and I pick up the students, we are starting the day with their morning song. Then I will be taking attendance, doing lunch count, and then we're gonna do the flag salute. Then I will be calling the students to the carpet and I'm gonna play the read out loud that's called The Way I Feel. Then we're gonna discuss the story. After we discuss the story, The Way I Feel, I had the students fold their paper into 4s. I had them choose their favorite emotions in the story. We wrote the emotions on the top and then they drew a picture of them feeling that emotion. It is recess right now, and once the students come back from recess, I will be reading 2 chapters of the Narwhal Unicorn of the Sea, and they are gonna be eating their snack, and for today's snack, they have celery. After writing, we moved on to what the teacher calls like a wiggles break, kind of like a brain break. So the teacher provided 2 videos that I would be playing for the students while they let out their wiggles and go to the restroom or get water. There was one video that she linked that I really liked that I haven't seen before, and this is the sight word Fortnite song. It basically shows them a Fortnite dance along with the word and how to spell it, and the kids love it. So let me play it.
Do it C-O-O-Z. Good. Do it M-A-K-E. Make. Do it I-N-T. Fine. E-L-A-Y.
The kids loved it. They were spelling and singing along as well as doing the Fortnite dances, which they all are familiar with. We moved on to math. We did a few math pages together. The bell just rang. I just walked the students to the gate and I am back in the classroom. I did not get to vlog the rest of the day just because this class was very energetic and busy. They kept getting out of their seats and talking while they're supposed to be working. So I was always walking around the classroom, making sure that they were working. The teacher did give me a heads up about that, which I didn't read till after lunch. But that is it for today's vlog. Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday and I am subbing 3rd grade. I love 3rd grade. It's one of my favorite grades. And I'm so happy that I'm finally subbing 3rd because I feel like I've been subbing kinder and first a lot. When I got into the classroom, I had access to the lesson plans, but there was no worksheets around. I was just about to text the teacher because she did leave her number in the lesson plans, but she walked in like right as I was almost about to hit send on the text message, and she had all the worksheets that we were doing for today, and she kind of explained how the day was gonna go and what we're going to be doing, which seems very straightforward. Once the bell rang, the students lined up right in front of the classroom. Before students walk into the classroom, I make sure that while they are in line, they are quiet, facing forward, and ready to come in the classroom. Once they do that, I do remind them as they're stepping in to walk in quietly, put away their water bottles, put away their backpacks, and take a seat. Then I like to introduce myself, take attendance, do the lunch count, and depending on the school and sometimes the grade levels, we do the Pledge of Allegiance or certain like morning meetings. So I noticed that for today, for this 3rd grade class, we did not have a morning meeting. We just went straight into DLD, which is when they swap classrooms and I get a new set of students. For DLD, because they are third graders, they are expected to write more as opposed to kinder and first. So the students did have a worksheet that we went over together, and this was our worksheet for DLD. So I did go over the directions. We did the first one as a class, and it's basically just rewriting the sentences, fixing the mistakes. They worked on 2, 3, and 4 on their own, and then we went over 2 and 3. We did finish this worksheet, and we had 10 minutes left until the students went to recess. So what I sometimes like to do is when we're done with the worksheet or assignment that the teacher leaves for like DLD, I like to go on YouTube and search a direct draw from Art Hub for Kids, and I kind of connected it to the lesson or topic of the day, which was science. So let me show you the video that I had the students draw. This was the video I chose for the students to draw. It is how to draw a science beaker. Here are some of the students' drawings. They left it in here because after DLD, they went to recess, but they're gonna come back after recess to get them. So this was one. This was another. This one's cute. And this one. So after recess, we are moving on to math. And for math, the students have a worksheet that we are going to begin as a class. And then they will finish that worksheet and do it independently. After that, the students are moving on to their must-dos and may-dos. This is the worksheet we are going to be going over. They're learning on how to find the area of a shape using length times width. So here's the example the teacher left. We're probably just going to go over 2 more unless they still have questions, and we'll probably do even more examples. After the students are done with this worksheet, they're going to work on their must-dos. So their must-dos is to complete the worksheet. They have an assignment on NextGen to do reading or an AR test, and then go on a website called Lolilo. Once they're done with that, they can start on their may-dos, which is the fun stuff. It is lunch right now. I just took the students to the cafeteria, dropped them off, then came back to the classroom to eat. Today, I just brought a sandwich. In the morning, the teacher did tell me that she has in her cabinet some snacks and a drink that I can take. So I took a soda and then some Funyuns. So far, her class has been really great. I already love third grade just because they're more independent. I don't feel like I have to keep repeating the directions over and over again. I don't have to remind them to sit down or to work quietly. They know the rules, they know the routine very well, which I will let their teacher know. Right before lunch, the students were working on math, and after math, I read them the last 2 chapters of There's a Boy in the Girls' Restroom. So it is still lunch right now, and after lunch, the students are gonna have music for 30 minutes. So they're just gonna, once the bell rings, they're gonna come into the classroom, get their flutophones, and then go to music class. Once the students come back from music, we're gonna move on to ELA. For ELA, we are gonna be learning about blizzards. We're gonna read this one page. And then we have a worksheet using the Frayer model. We're going to complete this Frayer model worksheet. It's questions about the article. After we're done with ELA, we're going to move on to writing. And for writing, the students are working on writing a poem about something they like. After writing, it is recess. I'm looking at the lesson plan, and it looks like the teacher does not have anything for us to do until dismissal. So that's about 15-20 minutes. So I'm either gonna have them finish their poem, or we can just do a direct draw for the day. It all depends on where we leave off. After recess, it's dismissal, and that's pretty much it for today. Good morning, everyone. Today is Friday, and I am subbing first grade. I am back at a school that I recently subbed at last month. The teacher requested me, so I am back with this class. When I got into the classroom, we started with our morning meeting. For the morning meeting, I started off with reminding the students in case I forgot who I was. I took attendance, I did lunch count, and then we have a student helper of the day. And that student goes over the classroom date, the rules, the Pledge of Allegiance, the school song. Then we got started on our SEL. So for the SEL, the students sat on the carpet and they answered the question of the day. This was the question of the day. Do you prefer eating pumpkin pie or apple pie? The students sat on the carpet. They had the talking piece of the day. Today I chose the rabbit, and they all got to share. After SEL, we moved on to phonics. For phonics, we went over their high frequency word as well as the sentence. And then I had the students volunteer to share a sentence using the high frequency words. After that, we went over the NG sound, watched 2 videos. We went over words with the NG ending sound. And as a class, we read the sentences out loud. And then we started our decodable. This was our decodable. We read the story. We highlighted the words that end with the NG sound. And then we drew a picture summarizing the story. After we finished phonics, we moved on to writing. For writing, we watched a video about fall. Then we discussed the two pictures here. The students shared what they saw. And then as a class, we went over whether students like fall or not and why. And in their journals, they wrote about it. This was my example. I wrote the sentence frames. They were gonna fill in the blanks and then draw a picture. It is recess right now. I have a few minutes to set up before the students come back, and after recess we are moving on to DLD. For DLD, we are gonna be watching this video about Toby Goes Camping. The students are gonna talk to their partner or share if they would like to go camping and what they would bring on their camping trip. Then we're gonna go over these pictures here as a class and then kind of describe what we are seeing. After we go over the pictures and kind of talk about what we see, we are gonna work on this worksheet as a class. They're gonna draw the pictures and then we're gonna write what we saw in sequence order. It is lunchtime right now. I just wanted to share a funny comment that a student told me. The student came up to me while they were writing in their journals and said, "Miss T, can you take out my tooth?" And I looked at him like, why is it wiggly? What's happening? The student said, "Can you tie my tooth to the door and pull it?" I tried not to giggle because that was a funny question, but I realized that maybe his parents do that or some parents do that. I told him that I couldn't do that, but if it was wiggly, I would send him to the office, or if it started to bleed, or if it was close to coming off, I would send him to the office. But I just thought that was really random and funny for the student to just come and tell me, and his tooth wasn't even wiggly. So I don't know why he said that. One more thing that I wanted to share was one of the students insisted for me to listen to sentences that he wrote, and we were talking about fall, whether they liked fall or did not like fall. So this is what he wrote. "I do like fall because all of us can get a big pile of colorful leaves and a big different weather, and that is why it is cool. Weather. Fall is the best weather." And then he wrote, "Miss T makes me so happy today. She is the best, and she made me so cool." After the student read the sentence, I thought it was so cute that the student added to his sentences that he was supposed to write, that he added that little comment about how I made him cool or how I am the best. I thought it was so sweet that he wrote it in his journal instead of just like telling me. It is the end of the day. I did not get to vlog. It was a very busy day. We had assignments and worksheets back to back. During last recess or lunch, I didn't really get to vlog much just because I was just preparing for what we were gonna do next. I did want to show you two things that the kids gave me, or some of the little things that the kids gave me. So I got a sticker from 3 different students. I got Lilo, a little teddy bear, and Stitch. Another student gave me their art project that I guess they did this month. Another student gave me this drawing. I do not know where they got this worksheet from, probably from the library.